The plants grow and blossom as you watch. The man goes down the line, applying a few drops from a vial as he goes. As the liquid soaks in, each plant pushes up from the soil, unfolding and stretching for the sky. He turns to you.
It's quite something, isn't it? Soy here strangles the crops. People are starving. But even when the plants survive, they don't grow fast enough to fill people's bellies.
He smiles.
My miracle formula will change that.
He shakes his head.
I'm not giving up my secrets that easily. The state will pay a lot of money for this.
He shakes the vial. He tears off a leaf.
Here, try some.
It's just bitter at first, but as you swallow, the fibrous mass burns in your throat. You fight to hold it down, and your stomach knots tight when the plant matter hits it. You cough and hiccup. The man looks at you, curious.
What do you think?
He waves a hand.
Well, yes, there are some kinks to work out, but people are starving. They can't be fussy. It won't be long before no one around here goes hungry again.
Your stomach protests. You feel like you'll be hungry again very soon indeed. The baby buffalo lies tangled by a fence, wire biting into its flesh.
Please, it says, I must reach the sanctuary before they find me.
The light here has a thin quality. Colors are oddly muted. There's a taste of something old in the air.
They were hunters of my kind. I am the last born. Every year it repeats. I must run. They must chase. It is the cycle that lets my people survive.
You hear hoofbeats. A ways back down the road, a cloud of dust rises. The buffalo struggles.
Please, help me.
The wire cuts into your hands, but you untangle the animal. The buffalo charges off as soon as it's free.
Come on.
You glance behind. A trio of riders emerges at the head of the dust cloud. You run alongside the buffalo.
Not far,
it grunts.
Just ahead.
You see the boundary, a line of rocks that mark the border, but the hoofbeats sound close. The ground dips, and the beast stumbles and falls. They'll be on you any second. You stand defiant in the path of the riders. They're coming in fast, wreathed in dust, but you hold your nerve. The lead rider veers at the last moment. The other two haul on the reins, sending their horses sliding. You're thrown into the dirt. The buffalo crosses the line and turns with a defiant bellow, a primal sound that far outstrips its size. It drags its feet through the dirt, kicking up a cloud of dust. When it settles, the four are nowhere to be seen. You hear the distant clamor of a herd in motion. The storm swept in just before sundown, heralded by a purple sky and electricity in the air. He sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself.
Can't just stay here.
You catch.
Gotta find her.
He looks up at you.
My daughter was out down the road.
He balls his fists.
God, fuck this.
He hauls open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm. The dust scours your skin, and razor winds whip at your clothing. You struggle for breath. The maelstrom has turned the world murky red. You don't see the farmer. You press on through the storm. You see the farmer up ahead. He's on his knees. A great, dark shape made from swirling dust looms over him. You manage no more than a cough. The dust thing engulfs the man in his body. The storm whips faster. You can't breathe. You have to get back to shelter. You make it to safety, but don't manage any sleep. The storm settles in the early hours. You find the farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has one arm stretched out in front of him, as if to crawl. The Twisters touch down in a cornfield, fence posts flying in its wake. A huge black stallion charges toward the tornado. On its back, a cowboy whips his lasso through the churning air, nearly matching the Twister's speed. His wild laughter carries on the wind.
God damn it, Bill!
Another man hollers, clapping his hands to his hat to keep it from flying off.
Quit being a damn fool!
The man on the horse turns toward him and flashes a beatific grin before digging his heels harder into the horse's flanks. His Stetson goes flying, caught by a gust. He doesn't seem to notice. He barks a single yee-haw as he stands in the stirrups, leaning into the whirlwind. In a moment, man and beast are enveloped in the storm. All you can hear is Bill's wild laughter. The man lowers his paper as you come near. His weather-beaten face is drawn. They say it's spreading. The dust is strangling the land. Half my cattle suffocated in the last storm. We cut open the carcasses to salvage the meat. They were filled with mud. He licks his cracked lips. They stay dry. His land is dying. If the harvest fails again, people will too. You look past him, over his dust-choked fields. You can't imagine anything growing here.
There's as much luck to be had around here as there is rain.
He glances at the empty sky, then fixes his eyes on you.
Nah. Harvest will fail. The land will die. And all this will turn to desert.
You walk on, trying to ignore the feel of sand in your shoes. Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. An extended family inside defies the carrying capacity of the vehicle. The driver leans out the window. Want this? He swings a violin around by its neck. 10 bits. We need it for gas. You hear a muffled pounding from somewhere within the car. 6 bits, then. We need it for gas. The pounding becomes frantic. The back door breaks open, and a girl crawls over the laps of dusty bodies.
Don't you dare! That belongs to Louise Ames,
She shouts at you.
Louise Ames!
She's dragged back into the writhing nest of limbs, and the door slams shut. On your way, the driver tells you. You go. The car is a lifeline, your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering, one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back. You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
Shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
We're not done with our observations.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
You clamber through the open back window, and she hands you pen and notebook. You scribble furiously while she dictates the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
That'll do.
She bangs on the roof.
Judith, let's go.
Deep in the fields, you come across a group of young men clearing weeds and sod from a roadside plot. Pitchforks flying, weeds dying. You almost don't notice that the dark lump beside them is a dozing boy, lying smack dab in the middle of their work. There's an odd frenzy to the way these boys are ripping the sod apart. When they notice you approaching, they jog over and stand silently between you and their sleeping comrade. The youths share nervous looks. The oldest steps forward.
Get going.
He blurts, leveling a pitchfork at your gut. His hands are shaking. He seems serious. You step closer, and the ringleader loses his nerve.
He died, he blurts. He was sweating and crying, and he just fell over. They won't come get us with the truck till sundown.
You realize now that the sleeper's been posed. The ashy shadow on his face wasn't cast by a tree.